Beyond the Gamut by Bliss Carman, William, softly, softly, Niccolo Amati. What can put such fancies in your head? There, go dream of your blue-skied Cremona, while I ponder something you have said. Something in that last low lovely cadence piercing the green dusk alone and far, named a new room in the house of knowledge, waiting unfrequented, door ajar. While you dream then, let me unmolested pass in childish wonder through that door, breathless, touch and marvel at the beauties soon my wiser elders must explore. Ah, my Niccolo, it's no great science we shall ever conquer, you and I. Yet, when you are nestled at my shoulder, others guess not half that we descry. As all sight is but a finer hearing, and all color but a finer sound, beauty, but the reach of lyric freedom, caught and quivering past all music's bound. Life, that faint sigh whispered from oblivion, harks and wonders if we may not be five small wits to carry one great rhythmus, the vast theme of God's new symphony. As fine sand spread on a disk of silver, at some chord which bids the motes combine, heeding the hidden and reverberant impulse, shifts and dances into curve and line, the round earth, too, haply, like a dust mote, was set whirling her assigned sure way, round this little orb of her ecliptic to some harmony she must obey. Did the master try the taut string merely, give a touch, and she must throb to time? Think you how his bow must rouse the echoes, quailing triumphing on, secure, sublime. Ah, thought cannot far without the symbol. Help me, little brother, hold the trend. Dear good flesh, that keeps the spirit steady, lest it faint, grown dizzy at thought's end. Waves of sound, is this your thought, Amati? Climbing into treble, thin and clear, past the silence, change to waves of color, we must say, when eye takes place of ear? Not a bird song, but it has for fellow some woodflower, its speechless counterpart, form and color molded to one cadence, to voice something of the wild mute heart. Thrushes, we'll suppose, have for their tune mates the gold languorous lilies of the glade, and the whippoorwill, that plaintive dreamer, some dark purple flower that loves the shade. The song sparrow tells me what the clover nods about beneath the gorgeous blue, while the snowballs tell me old love stories thistle birds half hinted as they flew. April's faith, in robin at his vespers, breathes a prayer too in my lilac blooms. What the cloudy asters told the hillside, my lone rainbird in the dusk resumes. Bobolink is voice for apple blossom, breezy, abundant, good for human joys. Oriole has touched the burning secret poppies hide with their deliberate poise. Tiny twin flowers, what are they but fancies, subtler than a fieldlark can express? Swallows make the low contented twitter lying just beyond the pansy's guess. Yellowbird, the hot noon's warbler, pierces sense where tiger lilies may not pass. Are not crickets and all field-wise creatures Brahmins of the universal grass? Saffron butterflies and mute ephemera, doubt not, have their songs too, could we hear. Every raindrop is a sea. Sonorous is the great world's thundering sphere to sphere. There's no silence and no dark forever. Clangoring suns to us are placid stars. Swift-foot lightning with his henchman thunder lags behind these gnomes in Leiden jars. Peal and flash and thrill and scent and savor pulse through rhythm to rapture, and control, who shall say how far? Along or finely? The infinite tectonics of the soul. Low-bred peoples, Hottentots, Basutos, have a taste for scarlet and brass bands. Our friend Monet, feeling red repulsive, sees blue shadows in pale purple lands. Sees not only, but instructs our seeing. Taught by him a 12-month, we confess earth once robed in crude barbaric splendor, has put on a softer lovelier dress. Feast my eyes on some old Indian fabric, centuries of culture went a weave, and I grow the fine fastidious artist, no mere shop-made textile can deceive. Red the bass and violet the treble, soul may pass out where all color ends. Ends? So we say, meaning where the eyesight was some yet unborn. Perception blends. You, Amati, never saw a sunset, hear tornadoes in a spider's loom. I, at my wit's end, may still develop unknown senses in life's larger room. Superhuman is not supernatural. How shall halfway judge of journey done? Shall this germ and protoplast a being rest midlife and say his race is run? Softly there, my Niccolo, a moment. Shall I then discard my simpler joys? No, for look you, every sense's impulse is a means the master soul employs. Test and use of all things, lowest, highest, are alone of import to the soul. Joys of earth are journey aids to heaven, garb of the new sainthood sane and whole. Earth one habitat of spirit merely I must use. As richly as I may, touch environment with every sense tip, drink the well and pass my wander way. Ah, drink deep and let the parching morrow quench what thirst its newer need may bring. Slake the senses now, that soul hereafter go not forth a starved defrauded thing. Not for sense sake only, but for soul sake, that when soul must shed the leaves of sense, sun and sap may solace and support her, stored in those green hours for her defense. Shall the grub deny himself the rose leaf that he may be moth before his time? Shall the grasshopper repress his drumbeats for small envy of the kingbird's chime? Certain half men, never touched by worship, soil the goodly feast they cannot use. Others, maimed too, holding flesh a hindrance, vilify the bounty they refuse. He's most man who loves the purple shadows, yet must love the flaring autumn too, follow when the squealing pipes bid forward, lie and gaze for hours into the blue. He would have gone down with Alexander, quelling unknown lands beneath the sun, watched where Buddha in the bow tree shadows saw this life's web woven and undone, freed his stifled heart in Shakespeare's people, sweet and elemental and serene, dared the unknown with Blake and Galileo, fronted death with Dull Acts 17. So shall mighty peace possess his spirit whom the noonday leads alone apart, through the wind clear early. Indian summer, where no yearning more shall move his heart. Wise and foot-free, of the tranquil tenor, he shall wayfare with the homeless tides. Time enough, when life allures no longer, to frequent the tavern death provides. Life be neither hermitage nor revel. Lent or carnival alone were vain. Sin and sainthood, help me, little brother, with your largo finder thought again. Uplift me, higher still and higher. Climb and pause and tremble and plunge on, till I, toiling after you, come breathless where the mountain tops are touched with dawn. Dark this valley world, and drenched with slumber we have kept the centuries of night. Cry, Amati, pierce the waiting stillness tremulous with forecast of the light. Cry, Amati, melt the twilight dirges in Te Deums, fit for marching men. Good, the days are chorusing, shall triumph, though the far-off morrows whisper, when? What is good? I hear your soft string answer. I am that whereon the round world leans, I am every man's poor guess at wisdom. Evil is the soul's misuse of means. Up through me, with melody and meaning, well the floods of being or subside, the first dim desire of self for selfhood, the last smile that puts all self aside. Hate is discord lessening through the ages. Anger a false note, fear a slackened string. Key thy soul up to the wiser manhood, gentler, lovelier joy from spring to spring. Here in turn I help you, little brother, half surmise what you have half explained. Store it by to ripen, and repeat it long hereafter as a glimpse you gained, when the 19th century was dying, from a strolling hand that held you dear. Appanage of time put in your keeping for my far-off heritor too. Here, I imagine how his eye will kindle when he fondles you as I do now, bends above you wooing like a lover, while you yield him all your heart knows how. I shall have been dust 1,000 summers, but my dear unprofitable dreams shall be part of all the good that thrills you in the oversoul's orchestral themes. What is good? While God's unfinished opus multitudinous harmony obeys, evil is a dissonance not a discord, soon to be resolved to happier phrase, from time immemorial permitted, lest the too sweet melody grow tame, and, untouched of pathos or of daring, hearts should never know what hearts proclaim. The unstained unconquerable valor, the unflinching loyalties of love. Or if evil be at worst a blunder no musician ever could approve, the mere bungling of a hand that faltered, mine or his who bade the planets poise, what a thing unthinkable for smallness is your frayed E-string one touch destroys. How that seagull out across the bay there rows himself at leisure up the blue. Evil. The mere eddy from his wing sweep, good the morning path he must pursue. Good, you think, and evil live together, both persisting on from change to change through interminable conservation, primal powers no ruin can derange? Deed and accident alike unending by eternal consequence of cause? No, for good is impetus to Godward. Evil, but our ignorance of laws. Say I let you, spite of all endeavor, mar some nocturne by a single note. Is there immortality of discord in your failure to preserve the rote? When the sound shall pass my senses' confines, melt away to color or thin flame, does it still malinger in the prism, falsify the crucible with shame? Hardly. For the melody and marring, when they put the dear oblivion on, or become as fresh clay for the potter, neither good nor bad, for use anon. Blighted rose and perfect shall commingle in one excellence of garden mold. Soul transfusing comeliness or blemish can alone lend beauty to the old. While the streams go down among the mountains, gathering rills and leaving sand behind, till at last the ocean sea receives them, and they lose themselves among their kind, man, the joy born and the sorrow nurtured, one with nothingness though all things be, great Lord Sirius and the moving planets fleet as fire germs in the torn-up sea. Linked to all his half-accomplished fellows, through unfrontiered provinces to range, man is but the morning dream of nature roused by some wild cadence weird and strange. Slowly therefore, Niccolo, and softly, with more memories than tongue can tell, lower me down the slope of life, and leave me knowing the hereafter will be well. Close with, love is but the perfect knowledge, the one thing no failure can befall. Loving kindness betters loving credence. Love and only love is best of all. Beauty, 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 sense and seeming, with the soul of truth she calls her Lord. Stars and men the dust upon her garment, hope and fear the echoes of her word. How escape we then, the rainbow's brothers, endless being with each blade and sod? Dust and shadow between whence and whither, part of the tranquility of God.